Okay, what is up, everybody? What's up, tycoons? What's up, traders? Super excited for today's video. XRP has officially been not deemed a security, okay? And we're seeing massive inflows into really almost anything crypto related. We're going to take a look at some crypto stocks as well as Bitcoin and ETH. And of course, we're going to break down XRP. Now, we're going to go over a macro chart right here and go over some of the real key levels. We're also going to zoom in and on the daily time frame. Okay, you can see this massive, just crazy candle we had today. All right, we're going to go over the key levels of support and resistance. All right, so you guys are aware. If we hold above this 0.7068, that's going to be a really bullish signal. Okay, so we're going to break down why that is. We're also going to give a crash course on, basically just trading algos in Bitcoin. All right, taking a look at the Bitcoin chart. We're also going to go over the Ethereum daily chart. This is going to be a crash course on Elliott waves. Okay, looks very good on the ETH chart right now. We're going to take a look at some of the stocks as well. Okay, Mara looking very beautiful. If you guys saw the last Mara video, this is the exact move that we were looking for. It's actually exceeding expectations. Riot absolutely crushing things, exceeding expectations. We're going to take a look at Coinbase as well. All right, Coinbase, absolutely crushing it. We're going to take a look at MicroStrategies as well too. Okay, this is another crypto related stock. So we're going to break all of those down in today's video. Be sure to smash that like button and subscribe to the channel for more. As always, the content provided on this channel is for informational and educational purposes only. It is not intended to be relied upon as legal or financial advice. So let's go ahead and get into the video, and we're going to hop on over here to TradingView now. All right, and we're going to get into TradingView, and here is what we're looking at on XRP, right? So real quick, if we zoom out, okay, and go into the macro scheme of things, okay, we can see our all-time highs that we have here. All right, we have our all-time highs over here, and then we came down and we created this low, right? So this is our low right in through here in this area. And when you connect these with the Fibonacci retracements, okay, what you're going to get are these levels right here. These are the three most common and well-respected Fibonacci retracement levels: the 61.8, 50%, and 38.2. Now, the reason these are so significant is because nothing moves in a straight line down and nothing moves in a straight line up. You move down, retrace, continue the trend, or you move up, retrace, continue the trend, right? So that's how you would spot that trend continuation, right? So, the bears are going to tell you that this is all just healthy retracement territory to continue the downtrend, right? But the thing about the fibs is if you break through these levels, right, and you break through the fibs, you can also spot a reversal, okay? Because if you move up, retrace, and you start to retrace or consolidate and break through those levels, you can spot a downside reversal. Same thing to the upside, right? If you move down, retrace, and you start to consolidate and break through those retracement levels, you can spot an upside reversal. So we moved down, we've retraced already up here to our 90.928 retracement level. All right, we started to see some resistance, we're falling back, but ultimately if we can get back above 1.325, all right, that's when we have the chance of going back to our previous all-time highs, okay, and also potentially even creating new highs. Now there's tons of work to be done before then, okay? So if we zoom into the chart, we'll actually get into some of the work that needs to be done beforehand, right? Now, this massive candle that we have right here, a really bullish sign, of these candles is when you can hold above the 50% retracement of this specific candle right here, right? So taking the lows up to these highs, 0.7068, that's really going to be a strong level for us. If we can hold above here, we have a really good chance of potentially retesting our 0.928 resistance level. And if we are able to get above here and really flip that to support, then we'll go ahead and come up with some new bullish price targets. In the meantime, the next real big target above there, okay, is going to be 1.1265, but there is going to be some support and resistance in between here and there. So that's time for another video. If we do happen to break below 0.7068, that's not the end of the world. If we break below here, we still have 0.6519. All of that is going to be healthy retracement territory to potentially continue this massive uptrend that we started here today. All right. But there's more than just XRP raging right now, right? Let's go into ETH, and I want to take a look at the ETH chart for you guys and show you guys what I'm looking at here. Okay. This is a very clean, very textbook, 5-wave structure here on the Elliots. We just completed an ABCDE correction wave. That's actually going to be this falling wedge right. Sorry, I had to sneeze real quick. So that's what that falling wedge right here. Okay, this is your ABCDE. All right, correction wave right here. to complete the wave 4, and we're starting our wave 5. Now the targets for wave 5 are going to be 2103, 2231, 2396, and we've also got a target up here of 2604. So we're going to see how high this could potentially go. All right. Typically you would be looking for some type of a 5-wave structure to take us up to these levels. Okay. To complete this wave 5 here. All right, massive moves. Here's some really important things that I'm looking at, okay, when it comes to the ETH chart. We just crossed over on the MACD, right? So this red line here crossed above the yellow line. This is typically known as a buy signal, as an entry signal. You can see we actually got that signal in through here, and we had a strong push up, okay? News, catalysts, they often follow the trend, and in this case, we are in an uptrend, and we're seeing a really big push up on Ethereum right now. Okay, and this just looks super clean to me, right? We got a very clean 1 up, 2 down, 3 up, right? We got our ABCDE correction right here, all right, falling wedge, and we broke out of that falling wedge, even very textbook breakout and retest, right? Breakout, retest, push up higher. So things are looking really good to me at the moment. One of the main things that I'm paying attention to is actually the RSI, right? So let's zoom in on our RSI right here. We had this initial bearish divergence, right? Which, if you're not familiar with those, take a look how we created a high here and then a higher high here, right? But on our RSI, we had a high here and then we had a lower high here. So what we're seeing is actually a divergence where we're seeing the price, okay, go up, making higher highs, but the RSI is going down, making lower highs. When you see this happen, it's something known as bearish divergence, and it's an indicator you could see some type of bearish activity. Remember, your RSI is your relative strength index. It's going to give you the relative strength of a token, of a stock, of a coin, whatever it is that you're looking at its given price levels, right? And so we see it actually has weaker strength here, even though the price has gone higher than what it was over here. Okay. And so sure enough, we ended up getting a very textbook ABCDE correction right here. All right. And look at exactly where we're at right now. We're retesting that trend line. So, we may get some pullback here. All right. What we'd prefer, if you're bullish, is you want to see ultimately break above this trend line and retest and either go sideways or go up, right? That's going to be a good signal for you guys. And that's going to be a signal that we could potentially hit our price targets here. If we reject this line and just keep heading lower, then obviously we're going to pull back, right? But things look pretty good right here to me for this 5-wave count. And so I'm going to be keeping a close eye on Ethereum here in the short-term future. Over the next week or two, I'm going to be really interested to see how this plays out in Ethereum. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of the stocks real quick, right? So let's start off here with Coinbase. Coinbase, absolutely skyrocketing right now. You guys remember we talked about the RSI trend lines when we were just looking at ETH. This is like exactly what you want to see. You want to see a strong breakout here. Okay. You see how we broke out past this RSI trend line. All right, that's right here at this moment, and then we've completely exploded up in price here recently. Coin could go as high as 117.87 here in the short term. It blew past the 102.60 and the 90.59 price targets here. Healthy retracement territory for Coinbase is going to be right around here at 85.30, 77.93, and 70.55. Okay, if it pulls back and holds these levels, we could continue going up higher. Now, what's really important to pay attention to right now is going to be this trend line and this trend line. Okay. This is a simple pattern known as a bump and run. So you have your prevailing uptrend right here indicated by these two connecting points. And then you have this bump up in the price, right? Where it really goes on the super parabolic move. If we were to come down and break through this trend line, there's a very strong chance that we end up coming back down here to this trend line. That's how the bump and run pattern works. So, we really need to see momentum continue. And we don't want to see this thing really just start to crash and break through that trend line. That's going to be a bad signal. Okay. There's been lots of positive catalysts here for crypto in general. But Coinbase hasn't really had the most positive of catalysts when it comes to Coinbase, right? They have, a lot of troubles going on with the SEC. It's been a real headache for them. Something that's really been impacting them a lot. When you look at things like the miners, right? When you look at RIOT is just absolutely blew away, where I thought it was going to go. Like, I really didn't even think it was going to come up to 18 here. And, we absolutely blew past that, went all the way up to $20 today. Very clean 5-wave count. Again, like I said, blew past my bullish price targets here. We have this gap up right here that I was thinking we may fill. I wasn't even positive we were going to fill this gap. And we blew right through that gap today. All right, as you guys can see, due to that, big catalyst with XRP. Now, we mentioned bearish divergence, okay? And I'm just trying to emphasize these things when you look at the RSI, right? There's multiple examples of this. A lot of people don't really use the RSI the right way, and they miss out on a lot, right? Like, over here it was overbought, right? Look at the price here. It's under $10. This is like $6.50 a share right here, $7 a share. And the stock is up here in the $20 now. So if you would have not bought over here because it was overbought on the RSI, and then each time you check back on it, it was overbought, and then you check back on it again over here, it was overbought, and you just never bought it because it was overbought and you missed on the stock going up 3x, here's how you can avoid that. Okay, so yes, typically you don't want to buy something when it's overbought, but you have to understand that when something's overbought, that's mean it's bullish at the moment, right? It's having a very bullish cycle. So you can see here we broke through this initial bearish divergence trend line, right? We have the high here, we have the higher highs here, we have the high here, we have the lower highs here. So we did get a pullback off of that bearish divergence, okay? But notice how we held support very well, right? We held support, actually put in a triple bottom here, here, and here. And you can see we actually broke through this bearish divergence trend line, right? And we came back and retested it, right? And on that retest, we went sideways and then we went up, okay? Which is what I mentioned when we were talking about Ethereum in that bearish divergence trend line, right? You want to see it if it breaks out, retest, okay? And even if it goes sideways, that's still good, right? You can see this period here where the RSI is going sideways. The stock is setting up for the next move higher, right? And then you see it goes higher, and then we actually just broke through this trend line here on the RSI. All right, we broke through, retested, and you can see we absolutely exploded yet again. So these are just some of the stocks that really I've been looking at, some of the different coins I've been looking at. Let's take a look at MSTR. This is MicroStrategy. Okay. And a lot of people are familiar with MicroStrategies. It actually just came up into its supply zone that I'm targeting. There's another supply zone up here around what is this, like 520? Yeah, let's call it about 523. Okay, is going to be the top there. About 509 to about 523 is going to be the next overhead liquidity zone, right? You can see here we have the liquidity zone here. We're entering into that area today. In the beginning of the video with XRP, we talked about breaking above the 61.8% retracement level to increase the odds of a reversal. All right, and so if you take a look here, we have our swing high, okay, from here. Right over here is our swing high, okay? And we connected it down here to our swing lows, right? And you see we've had this huge move down. We came up and we started consolidating around these retracement levels, and we absolutely blew past the 61.8% retracement level, which greatly increases the odds of a 100% retracement back up here to that 523 area that I was just mentioning to you guys. Another thing again that you want to be cautious of right here is we are seeing that bump and run pattern. All right. Now, a big mistake a lot of people have made, and myself included, I've just learned from experiences, is shorting patterns or going long patterns before confirmation, right? And so what I mean by that is, yeah, we have a bump and run setup here, right? But if you're shorting here and if you're shorting here, while the uptrend is still going, right, you can potentially lose a lot of money, right? You want to wait for patterns to actually confirm, right? You want to actually see the breakout retest of this trend line and then push lower before you try to short something like this. It's extremely overbought at the moment. So, of course, it really wouldn't surprise me if things pull back. But keep in mind what we've been talking about with the RSI and the bearish divergence, right? We had highs here, higher highs here. We had highs here, lower highs here. We had that bearish divergence. We pulled back, and look at what we did when we pulled back, right? This was actually very systematic, very controlled selling here, right? If we were to just draw like a little channel here, you can see that this is very controlled selling. You could even say that this is an A, B, C, D, E correction wave, and then we got the huge explosive move to the upside. Right. So what I'd be looking at and more interested in on micro strategies is if this stock does start to trade sideways or pull back a little bit, what's the RSI going to do? Are we going to bounce off of this level and go sideways or go up, or are we going to fall back down below? Right. If we get a look above and fail, that's actually going to be pretty bearish. Okay. If we can't retest this trend line and hold it as support, then this is going to be basically like a whole false pump up to the upside, and we could get a correction and get that bump and run pattern to play out. But again, you don't want to be trying to short something, when a pattern is there in formation. It can always break the structure and create a new pattern until, while you're waiting for that pattern to confirm. Um, what's another one we can look at real quick? Let's go ahead and take a look at Bitcoin now, okay? And we'll just kind of go over Bitcoin and, just taking a look at structures, noticing buying algorithms, noticing controlled selling, different things like that. These are some of the things that you want to pay attention to. We'll take a look right here and, really just go over it. Before we do, let's take a look at the RSI right here. Okay, so you see our RSI. We're making higher highs right now. We're making lower highs on the RSI, but we're right here at this trend line. If we can break out, retest, push higher, or just get an explosive breakout like we did on the last chart, that's going to be something that I'm looking for. Okay, if you take a look at your MACD as well, the MACD again is starting to curl up here, right? We're seeing it curl up. If this curls up above this yellow line here, we could see, basically the breakout of the bearish divergence trend line here on the RSI. Right. That's really what I'm looking at right now. Now, I mentioned these controlled selling and, spotting the structures. This is where liquidity is on Bitcoin, right? And we're pumping up, and we actually just touched that zone today earlier. All right. And that zone is going to be up to about 32,675 is the area right here. Right. This is an area of liquidity where, if we do want to start to pull back, this is going to be an area to pay attention to, an area of interest. But even then, we still have some bullish price targets above there of 33,271. And we've also got 35,252. Now, these lines right here, these are the buying and selling algorithms, right? These are the structures that you guys need to be able to spot, okay? And you need to be able to spot controlled selling, right? So what I mean by controlled selling is, here we have this buying algorithm, okay? And, when we're seeing this controlled selling, this is bullish, right? So we're just seeing controlled selling in here, all right? And you can spot this, you guys, on yourself. You can spot this stuff. And then you start to see we form a little bit of a structure here, right? We put in this controlled selling, right? We start a trend line here, and then we get an explosive move to the upside. Then we get controlled selling again. We have our initial trend line here, okay, that we're pushing up in, but there's not enough liquidity for this massive move to the upside, right? This is a huge push right here, okay, from basically 19,217 all the way up here to 28,000 on Bitcoin. Huge move right there, and there's not enough liquidity, in this structure right here to really make that move. So what do? Right? They break this structure right here. Okay, they pull it back here to the 61.8% retracement level, and then you see we get that explosive move to the upside, right? And then now we have a new buying structure in here. We have a new buying algorithm, all right, sending things up higher, all right, and then they need to push things back. So what do? They break that structure here, do another liquidity grab, and now you see we have that larger controlled selling, right? When we're just bouncing in here, very controlled, very controlled. What do? We come down to the 50% retracement level here, right? And then we get the explosive move to the upside. All right, and so now we have a buying algorithm here. I have a buying algorithm here. We have a buying algorithm here, and our major as of now support levels, to the downside, they're going to be right over here around 29,160, 28,320, and 27,481. Those are the big levels. All right, right now we're pushing higher, and we're trying to come up to this area of liquidity that I mentioned before. But if we can get past there and just stay in this buying structure here that we have, all right, and really just continue heading upwards in that structure. Again, these are going to be some of the price targets that we have: 33,271 and 35,252. All right, those are going to be some of the areas that we're targeting here in the short term. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel for more, and I'm out.